Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladino Live Network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I'm your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It's a great pleasure to be back and board with you once again today as the Minnesota Timberwolves. Well, last year, we talked about the Timberwolves making it to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. This year, we're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves getting to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since, last season. As the Timberwolves do their part, and indeed, it is Wolves in 5, once again, over the hated Golden State Warriors. What? Hate? You can't say hate. That's too strong. Shut up. I hate the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do. I've gone into that enough, and I'm glad they're out. The Timberwolves advanced 4-1. I'm not going to do a na-na-na boo-boo or anything. In fact, you're going to hear a soundbite from Draymond Green at some point in this segment, unless I'm stupid and forget. But hopefully I get to it, and I absolutely should. At worst case, maybe third segment or second segment or however I do this show. I think it's going to be 3 segments this time. Probably for the sake of being organized and such. Kind of like a review and then a re-review, which I'm going to do first, because we're going to actually backtrack to the Lakers a little bit at the beginning for reasons I'll talk about in a second. But yes, and then preview the Western Conference Finals, segment number 2, and the Eastern Conference Finals as well. Classic matchup. Knicks and Pacers. Wow, 1995. It's kind of like that feeling all over again. Pretty cool. And then, fan interaction and such. But we're going to have an early fan interaction right now because I felt like such a jerk the last show. I jumped on, spur of the moment. Wolves are up 2-1. This feels good. We have a chance, even though it's been ugly and but Vince called me twice. Yeah, twice. I think I forgot 2 times too, didn't I? Like he called the first time way back at the beginning of the series, and then it was kind of like middle of the series and then end of the series. And I forgot twice, I think, didn't I? The 2-1 part or 1-1 part, and then the end of the series. So what the heck? So I felt like a total jerk and a jackass. I don't like being blown off, and I sure as heck don't like accidentally blowing people off either, because that was not intentional. You think I'm going to blow Vince off? I'm not going to blow Vince off. It's not going to happen. So, Vince Germano, you have the floor. It'll be back-to-back calls. I know they're not 5 minutes, or they're not 20 minutes long or anything, so don't worry. Even if they were, though, I think it'd be pretty good quality. Vince, the floor is yours. Divulge.
All right, Joey, I just finished work. I seen that the Lakers have lost to the T-Wolves. But let me tell you something, mate. Some of your supporters are absolute dills. Absolute flogs. Some of the takes on LeBron James, and I can't remember the guy's name on Twitter, talking about how we wasted a draft pick on Bronny James. Does this moron realise it's pick 55 or 54, whatever it was? Like, we didn't pass up on a Magic Johnson at pick 55. That's what the Lakers do with our superstars. We actually look after them, which is probably why we get a lot more than other franchises. And to say that, we shouldn't have let LeBron pick a coach. LeBron actually had nothing to do with JJ Redick getting the job. He might have had a little bit actually, but he did tell Pelinka on the next hire, "Don't consider me. Don't do it for me. Do it for the long-term future of the Lakers." So that's what we did. I really like the T-Wolves, but some of your fans make it really hard for me to root for you guys to win a championship. You can tell how butthurt they are and how jealous they are of our franchise sometimes. You really can. And I'm not saying that's you or Tanae and Levi. I know you guys aren't like that, but I don't know, man. Some of the takes. But listen, getting back to you guys, because I know it's not a Lakers show. So I just congratulate you and Tanae and all the good T-Wolves fans out there who actually have half a brain. I honestly hope you and Tanae and Levi can get a championship if you keep playing the way you do, and Rudy keeps playing the way he's going. You can beat anyone. I said that a couple of weeks ago. And, Randall did, it's his best playoff series ever. So that's a really good sign, and Conley's hitting shots when he needs to, and I really think you guys can go a long way, and I really think you can beat the Thunder. You got more experience than the Thunder. But another thing too, mate, it came back to bite us on the ass. Our size, our bloody size, and our bench. I don't know why Connect didn't get more minutes. He's a threat out there, But, credit to you guys. Well coached. Game plan was really good. Hopefully you can get past. Well, hopefully it's not the Warriors, because who wants to see the Warriors go past round one? But if it is, I don't care. You can beat the Rockets. You can beat the Warriors. Again, some of you Wolves fans, pull your heads in. Fuck me. You and I'm sorry for swearing, but some of you plonkers, you're out of the first round. I know it's rare, but you're out of the first round. You can be excited, but don't act like fools, for God's sake. Anyway, before I say something I regret, I'm going to get off. Congratulations again. Looking forward to the show coming out. I'll talk to you soon. See you, mate.
Righto, Joey. Just finished my morning walk listening to your latest show. Boy, oh boy, bloody hell. Now listen, your Mount Rushmore. I don't care that you've got a Mount Rushmore, but when you're going to compare Luka Doncic talking on the court to Anthony Edwards, that's where I have a problem. So, out of Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards, which one has been fined $50,000 for what he's done on the court? I'll give you a hint. It's not Luka Doncic. Anthony Edwards talks as much shit as anyone. He hit a 3 over Luka Doncic and made some stupid gesture. I don't know what the hell it was. Luka will talk shit, but he also does it with a smile on his face. If you look, most of the time he'll laugh. Yeah, there are times where he wants to step on your throat, and thank God, because that's what we need. That was the Kobe type killer. That's what we need. I don't even think LeBron is that type of killer, but Doncic is. Yeah, he hasn't won a title yet, but guarantee you he will. So, I think people just need to get over the fact that players talk, and it's never going to stop, especially with these superstars. They love to talk. So we all just need to just settle down a bit. I know we're out of the first round. It's all exciting, and we're all a bit, we've got our chests pumped out. I've been there many times. Seen 5 titles. Maybe more, 6. I don't know. Can't remember that. I'll lose count after many, many titles. You know how it is. Wait, you don't. So look, your chests are puffed out and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to have to bring this up again. The guy from Straight Talk Wild should be called Shit Takes Wild. And stick to hockey, mate, because again, you completely. We drafted Bronny James at pick 54. Give me a spell. What a shit take that is. I mean, what did you want us to draft at 54? We probably actually, if we didn't take Bronny, we would have got someone probably worse. Just go through the drafts. How many pick 54s last in the league? Bronny's probably better than most of them. He plays defense. He works his ass off. That's all you can ask for. The kid's got a great work ethic. Get off his ass. It's just a shit take. And this is what I'm talking about, bad juju. I wasn't talking about our series. I'm talking about the series that are coming for you guys. Mate, there's something. I'm not talking about you. Just a lot of the fans I see on your timeline, not Tanae, because He's a beast. You're starting to get a bit arrogant. And I know you don't like arrogance, Joey. So again, like I said last audio admission, I did send it to you. I don't know what happened to it. But some of your fans, not you, but some of your fans, or Tanae, just need to pull your heads in a bit. But again, congrats on the series win. I do hope you, Tanae, and like I said last week, the fans with half a brain do get a title because, man, you have been such a warrior for this team through thick and thin. If anyone deserves a title, it's you, mate. So, yeah, good to talk to you, sort of. But I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Have a good one, mate. See ya.
And I thank you gracefully for those two call-ins, Vince Germano, Vince, and yes, like you said, don't know what happened to it. I apologize, and I thought it got lost, but it went to like a different folder, and sometimes I forget. For some reason, it even went to I think it was the junk folder, which is ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff that goes to the what do they call it, focus folder, that would be 10 times more junk than a call from Vince Germano. So I do believe I adjusted the thing where it's like anything coming from Vince's email will go straight to the focused folder. Yeah, not junk, and not what's the other choice that they call it? It's like the math folder. I don't know. I'm just kidding. What the heck is it called? Other. Yeah, other is where it's like, yeah, it's not that important, but focused is like, yeah. But any call from Vince Germano is important as far as I'm concerned. So obviously, yes, he's a Laker fan. This is a Timberwolves show and all that, but we also do Showtime and T-Wolves sometimes, and I might play those also on if I do a show about the Showtime and T-Wolves. I mean, by the way, if the Wolves win the championship, yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. It's definitely not going to be easy when I see what's flashing on the screen in front of me, as at the time I'm recording segment number 1 here, the Oklahoma City Thunder lead by 21 points over the Denver Nuggets. It's probably going to be the Thunder. Yeah, and of course, segment number 2 will be previewing the official winner because I'll be recording it later in the evening, so to speak. But I wanted to do segment 1 here to make it 1,000% chance of not forgetting Vince Germano's call-ins, and wanted to get the show started because, my wife gets impatient if I do a long show all in one shot. So, which I do normally when she's not here, but she's going to be here later, so that's the whole key. And of course, dinner plans and stuff in between. Okay, enough of my personal life. Thunder lead by 22. Jamal Murray just made it 19 because NBA players shoot threes 3,000 times and all that. So yes, no, to Vince Germano's calls, I feel like a jackass again. So what did we open up with? Yes, he said congratulations on the series win. Some of the fans are plonkers and blanket, like that kind of thing. Yeah, they are. Yes, I'm not impressed with every Timberwolves fan, that's for sure. For one, the absolute worship and untouchable, attitude about a certain former player or a certain franchise player for this team, that gets old even, honest to God, because like you can never say anybody's ever going to be better. Yeah, I think you can. But at the end of the day, no. Obviously, great thoughts by Vince Germano there. Me putting Luka in the Mount Rushmore, I probably shouldn't have. It should have been Draymond Green, honestly. Yet then again, he was pretty classy at the end of the series, which was very surprising to me. I remember thinking like it should have been Draymond Green. There's a lot more history with Draymond Green. Like Luka, yeah, he's kind of arrogant and obnoxious, but Draymond Green is worse. And what's crazy, that would be like literally 3 players from the Golden State Warriors on the Mount Rushmore of like Mount Dislike. Like number 1 is Steph Curry, and I know nobody agrees with me. And if good for you. Steph Curry's the greatest thing ever. I know, whatever. He's just so adorable, and everybody loves him, and you can't dislike Steph Curry. Oh, I can't stand the guy. Sorry, I can't. So who was it again? Curry, number 1. Number 2 is Jimmy Butler. I think most Wolves fans would agree with that. Number 3, Devin Booker. I think most fans would agree with him being there. And then Draymond Green should be number 4. So Vince, Luka is off the hook. It is Draymond Green. It remains Draymond Green, at least for the time being. Who knows who it's going to be? Maybe somebody from Oklahoma will take over. Or Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray's kind of an ass sometimes, but I don't know. He is, but he's not as bad as like Booker, that kind of thing. The Cyclops, he'll never be there. No, Cyclops can't go there. He's pretty classy. He's a pain in the butt to play against, but he's pretty classy. I don't like Aaron Gordon at all. I think he's annoying. He's a good player, but he's annoying as hell. Every one of these players is good, but they're annoying, that kind of thing. Just either it's arrogance or just, I don't know what it is. Just something about them it just bugs you, that type of thing. Denver's trying to chip away here, which I suppose what the Wolves did in this Game 7 situation a year ago. In the same deal, they were the road team in Game 7 getting our butts handed to us. And we just chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And then it's like, we're within striking distance. Like, I literally went dead silent some point in the third quarter. Like, we're dead. It's over. But what the hell? I'll keep watching just in case. Okay, yeah, we're getting a little closer. Yeah, but whatever. And I was just in dead silence. And then it's like, we're within 8. We're within 6. And da-da-da-da-da. I couldn't believe it. And the Wolves won Game 7 on the road. Rudy Gobert hit a crazy, 16-foot shot, I think it was. It was totally unexpected. It was awesome. Kind of like Rudy Gobert's excellent game against the Lakers in game number 5, so on and so forth. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself and behind myself and whatever. I'm twisting everything all over the place. This is the review segment, so I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. Yes, the Wolves were up 2-1 over the hated, stinky Golden State Warriors at the time. Ugly, playing like dog dookie. Yeah, the Jimmy Butler game. But the fact that the Timberwolves survived the Jimmy Butler game, playoff Jimmy game or whatever it's called, playoff Jimmy Butler game, that was the turning point of the series. Absolutely. And the Wolves were losing that game for quite a while. And then you had that great Anthony Edwards dunk like I talked about. And before you know it, the Wolves were, within striking distance and ultimately won the game. And a lot of people figured, and Jonathan Kuminga had, pretty much his best game ever. Jonathan Kuminga kept playing well. Jimmy Butler reverted back to, whatever he is, Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen Butler, where he's more of a distributor than the man. And there's a reason why the Bulls didn't win a championship without Michael, because Scottie was more that kind of guy. Now, Jimmy, I don't know if he's injured or banged up or just great defense by the Wolves. That's definitely part of it. The defense by the Wolves was pretty damn good. But Jonathan Kuminga led the Warriors with 23 in game number 4. But this is when you could feel the Wolves absolutely are going to wrap this thing up. The game wasn't going so well, and it was in Golden State, and you're concerned, if this gets tied up, God, anything could freaking happen. But then the Wolves had that third quarter. The third quarter, that changed everything. Anthony Edwards went from a guy who was pretty... Okay, since you already heard the F word on this show, I'll say it. He was pretty shitty in the first half. He sucked. He said it. He sucked in the first half. Terrible. And then the third quarter happened, and things changed dramatically. Anthony Edwards finished with 30 points, 6 of 11 from downtown, 11-21 from the floor. Excellent. Julius Randle had his Julius Randle game, except for 4 turnovers. Now, Anthony Edwards did also have 3 turnovers, but what do you expect when he's kind of the main guy bringing the ball up? Now, Conley didn't shoot particularly well. 2 of 9, that sucks, but he made all 5 of his free throws, which were very key at the end of the game. It also felt like the Wolves, it was stupid. The Wolves were effing around there. They were absolutely bleeping around the last, I don't know how many minutes, like when the Warriors emptied the bench, about 4:38 remaining. Almost 5 minutes remaining. The Warriors were like, we lost, forget it. And the Wolves, Mr. Finch, left all of our starters in the game. And they were kind of probably a lot more tired than these young guys. The young guys were, young or, bench guys, whatever the heck you call them. Glue guys, Guy Santos, Pat Spencer, poor guy, didn't get to play at all anymore. Quentin Post, Kevin Knox the second, not the first, but the second. They all kind of came off the bench along with, Kevin Knox got some minutes as well. Kevin Knox the second, I just said that. Moses Moody, because Kevin Looney, guys like that. But they were just running all over the Wolves, and the Warriors won that fourth quarter pretty commandingly. Yes, it was garbage time, but it's like they're within single digits, and it's like a 5-point game. What are you doing? Could you imagine? It was like the stupidest thing ever. Guys were just bleeping around. Walker made all 5 of his shots, but then he had a couple of ugly turnovers. Naz Reid had 5 turnovers. 4 turnovers for Walker, 5 for Naz. That's 9 turnovers from your 2 guys on the bench. Mr. DiVincenzo was a bit of a mess as well, 2 of 7, but he did make half of his threes. That helped, and so on and so forth. But the commentary you'll hear in the fan interaction is like, yeah, it looks like they don't even want to be on the floor, and they probably didn't. Finch, take them out. What if something stupid happens? What if somebody, pulls a hamstring? Gee, that sounds familiar. Just what if somebody pulls a hamstring? Wouldn't that be just wonderful? It'd be great. Then we'd be the Warriors, in the next round, and it'd be, Thunder in 5 or whatever. That's about what would happen if it was a very important player like Anthony Edwards or whatever. It wouldn't help to have anybody of the 3 guys off the bench have that kind of an injury, a nagging kind of injury that can keep you out for weeks, or a week at the very least. It's not bleeping worth it. Well, Curry is in his mid-30s, so it's even worse. The older you get, it's not gonna be like, okay, I'm back on the floor. By some miracle from God himself, like Anthony Edwards didn't miss any time, but of course his shooting went down the crapper when he hurt his ankle. That was scary as heck. But that was weird. The fourth quarter was like, what the heck are you guys doing? Like, stop screwing around. This should be a blowout. But the Wolves won, so okay, fine, we won. Ugh, jeez. You just start, the stress just is off the charts. In the first half, the stress is off the charts. You calm down in the third quarter, and then it's like, what are we doing here? This game's over, right? Well, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's over. I guess. But that was nice. We went up 3-1. You go back to Tarjay or Target Center. That's Paul Allen calling him Tarjay. Isn't that weird? It's only 2 games since the last episode, but that's cool. Jimmy Butler back to just, I'm kind of out here doing my thing. What was he like? 5 of 9 last game, the game 4. 5 of 9 with 14 points, 3 assists. My God, that's like Andrew Wiggins. Jimmy, you have no right to talk bleep to Andrew Wiggins. Let me tell you. And Vince Germano saying how star players talk bleep and stuff, and that we need to get over it. Yeah, I know. I think Booker's worse though. That guy looks like he just wants a fight. He's more of a punk. Booker's a punk. Curry is just, it's his body language. I just can't stand the son of a. I can't. It's his body language. Something about that guy. He thinks he is the. I don't know. He just doesn't respect anything outside of his team basically, and it's annoying. And I don't even think he respects his team half of the time, at least back in the day. Game 5 was kind of a funky, weird one. Green, obviously, what did he foul out in Game 3, right? And you could see, like you were saying, Anthony Edwards, Wolves in 5, huh? Well, it was, thankfully. Kuminga, again, what did he have, 23 in the last game? He led the Warriors with 23. He had 26 in this one. Second behind Podziemski, who shot like dog dookie the whole series for the most part. He was like the bad version of a guy named Dante DiVincenzo on the Wolves side. Podziemski, 11 of 19 with 28 to lead the Warriors. It was crazy and annoying. 4 of 6 from downtown. That was annoying. Buddy Held disappeared off the face of the planet, and that's good for us. Again, who knows what would have happened if a certain annoying number 30 was out there. But thankfully, the Wolves had their number 30, and that made a huge difference. It was like 30 or 30, Julius, another great game. 5 turnovers, which is annoying. Anthony Edwards had 12 assists. Didn't shoot spectacularly well early, but then again, actually, he was fine. 8 of 15. He started to make his baskets later, 5 of 9 from outside. There's nothing to complain about there, but the 12 bleeping assists. 7 turnovers, which is annoying because, again, the Warriors' defense is like the best in the league, basically. But, with guys like Draymond Green and such, who, again, will be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about that. It is kind of crazy that both Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle combined for 12 turnovers. And if you add McDaniels, 15 turnovers to 3 guys? It's freaking weird. Conley, much better performance than he did in, say, Game 7 in Denver last year. Gobert was awesome, 8 of 9. I mean, it's not awesome, but really good. Had a key block down the stretch to kind of say, get the hell out of our face. And Anthony Edwards had 3 blocks in the game, which was awesome. One really awesome one on Podziemski, which is kind of like, you're not winning tonight, guys. You're not winning. So that felt great. The Wolves were able to survive a series that, I know, I don't think it was gift wrapped to us. I don't. Curry is capable of having a crappy game or two. And Curry can have good games, and the Wolves still could beat them. Curry played in those games last year, didn't he? When the Wolves beat them. Or was it 2 years ago when the Wolves literally, the Wolves did pretty well against a fairly decent Warriors team. And the Warriors got nuts. Draymond Green and what was his name when he was still there? Klang Thompson was letting out his frustrations. I'm getting in fist fights with Jaden McDaniels and such. Draymond Green flipping out at Anthony Edwards and trying to choke Rudy Gobert, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us thought the Warriors were toast at that point, and then they made the Jimmy Butler trade, and, well, they look like a pretty big threat. And then Curry, again, that's part of the game with age, and the fact that the Warriors overused Jimmy Butler, probably Butler too. What's his name? Steph Curry. Too many minutes in that seventh game against the Houston Rockets, where the Rockets, the Warriors kind of had that game fairly early. The Rockets were down early in that one, so it wasn't a good game at all. You could just kind of feel it was going to be the Warriors most of the way in that one. It was kind of an early and often thing. Houston would have their little runs, like always happen in the NBA, but then it was what it was. Like things just kind of snowballed over the course of that game, but they left Curry in too long. And that's why when I see like Anthony Edwards on the floor with the Wolves up by 20 and 3 minutes left, get him off the floor for God's sake. I'm tired of this. I love Chris Finch, but I don't want that. I don't want something stupid to happen. I don't want to find out something's going on. Anthony Edwards' youth does help him. Like Kevin Durant years ago had a 48-minute game. I played the whole game when he was with the Thunder many years ago. Yeah, so like when you're younger, sure, you might be less prone to something stupid happening like that. But I don't know. That's kind of on the Warriors there for, again, over using Steph Curry against a Houston team that was probably already done. So that's a part of the conversation, and that's where it does become part of the game more than just like, oh, you got lucky, you got gift wrapped a series. And I don't know, a lot of people were saying the Warriors would have beaten us easily. It's like, that's where I could come back at Warriors fans, not Lakers fans as much necessarily, but Warriors fans about how all the crap they talk, and they think that Kuminga is way better than he is and such, and that the Warriors would have won in 5 or 6. I don't think so. I think the Wolves would have won in. It would have been like Wolves in 6 or 7. It would have been harder, but I think the Wolves would have won the series. I don't think there's a. I really say that, and I'm not saying that with a homer with Homer shades. I think the Wolves were the better team. You notice how the Warriors went on their run and everything, but they still wound up in the wild card or whatever it's called, the play-in. If they were so great, they would have swept past us, but they didn't. So that's a conversation that needs to be had. Now, Donnie DiVincenzo, 5 of 7 from downtown, from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, 6 assists and 4 steals. He actually had a great game and all of that. Walker back to being, I don't know, 13 and a half minutes and 2 points. I don't know. Not too great, not too special. I think some of these guys are out there too long, though. 42, 43 minutes for Julius Randle, 41 for Anthony Edwards, 41 for Jaden. Thankfully, Jaden and Anthony Edwards, or Ant or whatever, are young, but I don't know. Gobert, 27 minutes, that's better. Conley, 26, which is higher than other games that he was freaking awesome. It was probably his best game of the whole playoffs. 4 of 6 from downtown, 16 points, 8 assists. So that was nice, and it felt really good to see the Timberwolves advance and get past the stinking Warriors team, regardless of you think that we would have been demolished because of, we would have been demolished if Steph Curry was out there. I don't believe that. I think it shortened the series, but I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I just don't. I think the Wolves were deeper and all that at the end of the day. The Warriors are definitely deep. Unfortunately, this blue jersey team, since the NBA has kind of taken on the same identity as hockey and football, wearing the darker jerseys at home nowadays. That team's going to be a tough opponent, and odds continue to head that direction as the third quarter is winding down. What is that? Porter for 3? Nope, he didn't shoot it. Cyclops for 3, hits it. Okay. 96-72. I mean, that's still not good. What is that? 24 points. So going into the fourth quarter, it's been done. It's not easy, and all that, but Oklahoma City is going to be a problem. They're going to be tough. It's going to be a tough, long series. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment is Oklahoma. Again, glad I got to Vince Germano. Glad he got to say what he said. And, yes, I think fans need to be better about things. Don't get cocky. Don't get arrogant. There's no real reason to get full of yourselves. As, what's his name? AP Krasinski, formerly known as AP. Johnny Athletic John Krasinski locally, just a couple of years ago, when Malik Beasley was still here, and we were bleeping around and losing to a Houston team that that may have lost to the Hopkins Royals like 2 days earlier or something. They were that bad at the time. They were pretty bad, and it's like Malik was basically saying how we just got a little bit too happy with ourselves, and we ended up losing this game. And then we got too excited about our success or whatever, something along those lines. And then Johnny Krasinski said, I have a question for you. What success have you had? And that's what a lot of NBA teams, unfortunately, to this day, especially a team with 17 titles, have the right to say back to us when we get a little cocky. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Am I excited about this team? Yes. Long term? Yes. Not just short term. I mean, that's the best part about this. Certain shorter term players are going to be gone. And when Anthony Edwards becomes prime Anthony, Mike Conley is not walking through that door. Mike Conley's not walking through that door. Rudy Gobert, more than likely, is not walking through that door. And if he did, they'll be gray and old. Yeah, as Rick Pitino once said, those guys will not be walking through the door. Okay, so when Anthony Edwards is in his prime, but the good news is Anthony Edwards will be in his prime. It won't be. Garnett was already in his prime, and Sam Cassell is not walking through that door. And if he did, he'd be a jackass. Latrell Sprewell's not walking through that door because he's an idiot. And gray and old. Both. Combination. So that's the good part. We don't have to worry about literally like, if you don't win this year, goodbye, goodbye. See you in 5, 10, 20 years. Whatever. 20 years. It's only been 20 years, It's not that long. Jeez. What was I, 25? Turning 25 when the Wolves got to the conference finals? I turned 25, was it a month and a half later? I'm 45. It's going on 46. Yeah. I'm gray and old. I wasn't in my prime yet, arguably. Maybe I was, though. I was probably closer to my prime in my younger 20s than my older playing basketball, but I was playing back then. Now, I don't think so. I'm gray and old. Bald and old, too. As Vince and others like to make fun of. How dare you? Yes. But no, making fun of, like kind of getting full of yourself is not worth it. That's just my point of view. Being happy about your team's success, okay, yes. But don't overdo it. That's what I hated about Warriors fans for so long. Because they didn't win Jack Bleep forever. I mean, they won, what was it? Was it one title in like the mid-'70s, right? In the Rick Barry era, and apparently everybody hated that guy because he was not nice. He was not a nice person. And the previous title was like ancient times, right? Like we're talking like when we're talking like when the megaliths were built, like pre-Adam and Eve, by some other civilization. Yeah, that kind of thing. I might have been the last championship that the Golden State Warriors or San Francisco Warriors or whatever they were called at the time. They weren't called Golden State. It was like San Francisco Warriors or Oakland Warriors or something. So we're talking way back in the old days, yeah. Oh yeah, I knew there was something about that. Yeah, it's Philadelphia Warriors. Philadelphia Warriors. Isn't that weird? 1946 to 1962 when the Minneapolis Lakers were, we're going to talk about Minneapolis here in a second as well. But no, actually, well, we'll hint at it and then we'll talk about it a lot deeper if the Wolves get to the NBA Finals. Oh boy, it gives me goosebumps. But yeah, 46 to 62, they were the Philadelphia Warriors. 62 to 71, San Francisco Warriors, which actually sounds better as far as that. It does, dang it. They should have left that alone. Golden State Warriors, 1971 to present. San Francisco sounds better. So 1947, yes, that's Megalith days. That might be before George bleeping Mikan. 56, that's during George Mikan. So 5 of their titles are as the Golden State Warriors. The previous 2, which are a total of 7, were in Philadelphia. Also, Laker fans, I got to do some math here as well. 12. 5 of them were in Minneapolis. But yes, the total franchise championship level, total championship number is 17. Yes, but 5 of them were won in Minneapolis. That's not arrogance, it's honesty. Unfortunately, they don't count towards the Minnesota Timberwolves franchise. But I guess, to the city of Minneapolis, but I don't even know if the Larry O'Brien Trophy existed back then. That's the thing. And, like, back then it was, the WNBA was probably, the WNBA might draw more fans right now than the NBA did back then. But also buildings weren't very big. Like the Armory was, yeah, it's a parking ramp today. It still exists. It's a parking ramp. The Minneapolis Lakers played in the Armory. That's what it's called. It's still there. Oh, creepy. Yep. Haunted. Just kidding. But, yeah, I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm always in a weird mood. I'm not sometimes in a weird mood. I'm always in a weird mood. And there's no lemon and tomato juice. But, lemonade. What do you think of that? On a sunny afternoon. Yep. When it's not that warm, but it's sunny. Not that warm for May. It's below average. I'd say it's in the 50s out there. But, yeah. I'm babbling like an idiot here. But the Wolves' chances getting to the finals, we'll have to wait and see on that. Denver's been kind of getting closer. Maybe we'll be talking about the Denver Nuggets here in segment number 2. But the MVP for the series, the Lone Wolf Award winner for the series is Julius Randle. Julius Randle is going to bring that home. The Johnny Flynn Memorial is Dante DiVincenzo. He sucked. He stunk for the most part. He had a good Game 5. But it's like, well, I'm glad you could join us, Dante. Please join us against OKC or Denver. We're going to need him badly. It's probably going to be OKC. Yeah, Denver was close like a minute ago, and now it's, it's 97 to 72. I'm having dyslexia looking at this. 97 to 72. Yep, reciprocals here on the screen. And Denver just missed another 3 and all that cute stuff. So we'll be most likely previewing the OKC Thunder in segment number 2. I'll stop babbling, and we'll get to that next. Are you looking for a really nice Timberwolves-related Facebook page out there with cool fans and a wonderful host? Well, look no further than Wolfpack from Flip to Finch, hosted by Scott Doherty. He does a great job. Scott Doherty's an awesome guy, and the fan base on there, obviously passionate about the Wolves, but also respectful of other people's opinions regarding the team. Check out the page. It's awesome. Wolfpack from Flip to Finch. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 2. Before I hop into the, Western Conference Finals, Minnesota versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Surprise, surprise, considering what the score was when I was last talking. I need to do some addendum and errata. I knew I was forgetting something Vince Germano said in one of the calls about the, the people talking too much. Yes, Anthony Edwards does talk a lot, yes. I kind of see him more as a, I don't know, like lighthearted. Maybe not. I don't know. He does seem more lighthearted, but maybe not all the time. Maybe he was kind of disrespectful to Reeves a little bit. I did kind of sense something there. I don't know. I wish the whole dang thing would slow down. People would cut that stuff out and just play the game. I don't know. I mean, it's like, maybe I'm old-fashioned. That's fine. I don't know. But unfortunately, that's just a part of sports. And yeah, I agree that it's I agree that it's a part of sports, and I need to cut it out and play, be more honest about things rather than just say Luka's a jackass and Ant's the coolest guy ever. No, I mean, Garnett was a jackass too, and Ant can be, I'm sure he can be. And so I accept I accept what Vince said, and basically, as they say in Australia, fair enough, mate. Kind of like that, where it's not like you're not disagreeing. You might not be like, yeah, I agree, hell yes, bloody oath, and it's the biggest bleep ever. It's more like, fair enough, like, yeah, you made a good point, yes, and I don't disagree. That's kind of what we mean when we say fair enough and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, it's, it's not even agreeing to disagree. It's agreeing to agree in a moderate kind of a way, you could say. So, yes, that is kind of something that's going on. The Thunder, I don't see a whole lot of that over there, but it probably is. It probably does happen more than Thunder players or Thunder fans would admit. I'm sure the fan base is pretty raucous. I'm probably going to come out of it despising them, but we'll see. Yes, that is your Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City Thunder versus your Minnesota Timberwolves for the rights to go to the NBA Finals. Wow, it's pretty cool. We'll look at the OKC Thunder, a deeper dive in a moment. We're going to look at the Eastern Conference Finals first, because we can. Just very briefly, of course, New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers. I mean, the history is awesome. Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Spike Lee, all that. I'm not a huge Spike Lee fan. Back then, I liked him more. Let's just kind of say it the way it is. Also, right now, flashing on the screen, the Florida Panthers are, they were up 3-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs in the third period, which is like the equivalent to the fourth quarter in basketball. Up 3-0 in Game 7 of one of the East semis, basically. Yeah, East semis for the rights to play the Carolina Hurricanes. And Florida Panthers are the defending Stanley Cup champions, for those of you that don't follow hockey too closely. So, they're defending their championship pretty well at the moment. Toronto finally scored, and then Florida scored immediately right after. It was like a nan-nan, a boo-boo almost. And it pretty much was. So anyhow, Indiana and New York, not Chicago. That was a good rivalry also back in the good old 90s, and kind of still remains, but really, I don't know, like the Bulls. I mean, I don't know. Game 1 of that series won't be until May 21st, Wednesday. Game 1 of the West Finals is Tuesday, so May 20th. So that's coming right up. Seems like historically May 20th. Was that usually the draft lottery? I think it was. It feels like it's earlier nowadays. Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks got the number 1 pick in the draft. We're happy for them. Or maybe it is usually around May 13th. Maybe that is right. First, 13th, 14th. But yes, the Dallas Mavericks got the number 1 pick in the draft. And yes, I'm all over the place. I'm probably annoying everybody. Maybe I'll pull up a mock draft just to kind of give you the order real quick and maybe what the Wolves might be able to get as well. A very, very early mock draft. NBA draft.net. I like going here because it's a nice, a nice kind of a cheat sheet type of a mock draft. Timberwolves will be picking 17th. Common Moloch or something like that from Duke. Moloch. Yep, Common Moloch. Yeah, actually I have seen him. Yep, center for Duke, freshman. 7'2", 255. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Possibly at 17th overall for Minnesota. Dallas Mavericks will be taking Cooper Flagg from, yes, Duke. Duke would also go number 5 to the Utah Jazz. You kind of feel for them. Man, 5th pick? Geez, they dropped, didn't they? Charlotte Hornets, who never seem to get their heads out of somewhere. Philadelphia has a chance to get really good if what's his name could stay healthy. They have the 3rd pick in the draft if Joel Embiid could ever stay healthy. Ace Bailey, swingman basically from Rutgers, 6 shooting guard, small forward. Combo guard out of Rutgers would be going number 2 to the Spurs. Wow. Dylan Harper. So we'll see. See how all that turns out in the not too distant future. But so at least the top 14. Yeah. God, and Oklahoma City's picking 15th. Yeah, Oklahoma City's picking 15th because they got like 50,000 draft picks from the stupid idiot Clippers for Mr. I'm hurt every 10 seconds. What's his name? What's his name? Paul George. Oh my God, LA Clippers, what are you doing? Imbeciles. Idiots. The freaking Oklahoma City Thunder won 68 games this year, so we're kind of digressing that direction. They have 2 first-round picks this year. Yeah, 15th and 24th. That's all. Just 2 first-round picks for a 68-win team. Bleepity bleep. So, yes, Dallas, number 1, Cooper Flagg. Duke, number 2, San Antonio Spurs. Number 3, Philadelphia. Number 4, Charlotte. Number 5, Utah. Number 6, Washington. Number 7, New Orleans. Number 8, Brooklyn. Number 9, Toronto. Number 10, Houston. That's pretty high for a, number 2 seed, but you know how that goes. Trades all over the place. Portland picking 11th. Chicago picking 12th. Atlanta 13th. San Antonio 14th. And the OKC Thunder 15th. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's weird. Whoa, Brooklyn has a ton of first-round picks, too. They're probably going to make some package deals, and sure. Yeah, the 8th pick, that was the Spurs last year, and that became Rob Dillingham, of course, to Minnesota. So Brooklyn has 4 first-round picks. That's pretty notable. Number 8, number 19, number 26, and number 27. Okay, look at me going completely off topic here, but it is still NBA related, and it is still news from since the last episode. Gosh, I get way too wordy, and you guys are probably like, shut up, get on with the Wolves. Yes, I'm coming, I'm sorry. Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks. Yep, that starts on Wednesday, and it goes up to June 2nd, if necessary, to game number 7. New York Knicks do have home court advantage. They have home court advantage in this series, but I think the Indiana Pacers have all the chance in the world to try to get the playoff history here. I apologize. Sorry. There we go. Oh, nope. Toronto did not score. I just want to see the playoff history. Of course, they don't have it all listed. Some people, yeah, like all time. But that's like regular season, too. I don't really want that. Yep. So the first meeting was 1977. The Pacers used to be an ABA team. A lot of, like the Nets, the Pacers, the Nuggets, teams like that all came from the ABA. I think there's at least one more. And then, became NBA teams. That's cool. Other teams disappeared off the face of the planet, of course. But yes, there was Reggie Miller, what they called him, the Nick Killer. That's one of them. So they've had some pretty epic matchups. The all-time series is 124 to 122 in favor of the Knicks. Here we go. Postseason results. Indiana actually leads that one. Yes, as they have had a lot of success against the Knicks, including back in 2000, when a lot of people were hoping for a New York-LA matchup in the NBA Finals. It just didn't happen. It did way back in the day, I believe, in like was it the late 60s, early 70s around there? Yep. That's the 60s. Yeah, like the Lakers were getting a little older, and the Knicks were kind of coming on at the time around then. Like the Jerry West Lakers and such, the ones that lost like 15 NBA Finals basically to the Celtics. So yes, here's your postseason history. Thank you, Wikipedia. You can always count on them, can't you? So postseason history, 93. That's the furthest back, I guess. But yeah, the Knicks won that easily 3-1. 94 conference finals, epic battle. Knicks won that one 4-3. But then the next year, the Pacers won 4-3. That's in 95, of course. And that's when the Pacers, that was in the semifinals, unfortunately. And then the Pacers lost to the stupid Magic, and I wasn't happy about that at all. Conference semifinals in 98, Pacers won that one, and then ultimately got to the NBA Finals. No, they did not. No, what am I talking about? No, ultimately lost in a 7-game, probably one of the greatest Eastern Conference Finals in NBA history. At least I would think it was. The 98 Eastern Conference Finals, if you're old enough to remember. The Bulls and Pacers went literally down to the wire in 7 games. That was epic. Pacers probably would have beaten the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. That was a good Pacers team. Really good. 99. The Knicks won the conference finals, went to the NBA Finals, and Patrick Ewing tore his Achilles. Right before the NBA Finals, and then the Knicks lost to the stupid Spurs. So you can kind of tell which team I would have preferred in that NBA Finals. Yes. Oh, yes. 94, great series, though. That was a very bitter defeat for the Indiana Pacers. So, yes, I'm going on and on about this because this is an awesome rivalry historically. So, I was excited at the whole thought of Knicks and Pacers. Who did I pick in the conference finals anyway? Did I pick the Pacers? I can't remember. Or did I pick the Cavs? I can't remember. I don't think I had I had the Cavs going to the finals and winning it. Yep, so yes, I'm fessing up. Cavs in the finals. No, they lost to the Pacers. I wish I did pick the Pacers. Oh, yes. So 99, yes, the Knicks won. 2000, yep, everybody wanted that New York-LA matchup. Didn't happen. Pacers won. In 2000, you did not get the New York-LA matchup. And the Pacers, lost in 6 games to the 2000 Lakers. Yes, congratulations, Vince Germano. That was the first of the 5 titles that he celebrated since being a Laker fan. Or should it be 6, actually, right? Because 5 with Kobe, Shaq and Kobe era. Surely this one counts. That's 6, right? Because the Shaq Kobe era won 6 of them. And then, of course, LeBron got at least 1 so far. And who knows, maybe him and Luka will get 1. I have my doubts, but it's possible. Of course it's possible. You got Giannis looming, and I know some interesting people on Instagram think that they're going to get Giannis in the Golden State or San Francisco or whatever the heck you call them. As they might say in Australia, they can get stuffed. Anyhow, continuing. Eastern Conference Finals 2000. Yeah, I already did that one. 2013, man, he had to wait that long. They had to wait 13 stinking years. Conference semifinals. Pacers won. That was a pretty good Pacers team. Pretty good. Pacers have had some nice history, but they have no rings. Eastern Conference semifinals last season. Yep, that's how the Pacers got to the East Finals last year, only to be sacrificial lambs to the world champion Celtics, who are no longer world champions. I also do not comment about the what happened to the Celtics. Yes, they lost that series. Things were not going well as it was. They were down 3-1. If I remember correctly, it was a 2-1. Well, they were on their way to going down 3-1, and in that game, Mr. Tatum tore his Achilles tendon. Yep. So it sounds. I mean, some people are saying like there's a chance he could be back in 6 months, like playing. You know, he could be playing at some point next year. In other cases, it's like worse than an ACL. He's out for at least all of next year. So it's kind of all over the place. It's like a stock, you know, that has the Bollinger Bands going up and straight down, meaning the stock could go to, like, imagine the stock is $45, and things go well, that stock could be $120 in like a month, or it could be $3. It could be an absolute collapse. So that's kind of what it's like with, I guess, Achilles tendons and all that, and maybe Jason Tatum could be one of those good stories, but we'll see. This has not been refreshed, but yes, all the conference finals are all set. In hockey, it's not official yet, but 11 and a half minutes remaining. Florida's still up 4-1. Very doubtful for Toronto, who has been, I don't know, very disappointing in the postseason going back to the late 60s. Horrible. Very storied franchise. You know, they have the second most Stanley Cups in NHL history. And I tend to talk about the opposite sport on both Timberwolves Explosion and Brave the Wild. It's kind of funny. You wouldn't believe how much Timberwolves conversation you heard on Brave the Wild last night. It's pretty crazy. So Sunday night special here with TE. Saturday night special with Brave the Wild last night, if you are interested. Knicks and Pacers, though, I had to get into that because it's a great series. Great series. The Knicks have played very well. They outplayed the Celtics. Trent Tucker literally called for Joe Mazzulla's head, and Trent Tucker doesn't call for anybody's head. He's a pretty mild-mannered guy. He really is. And he's like, you're done. He thinks he just doesn't deserve to have that job anymore. So we'll see. We'll see what happens if the Celtics actually make that move. I doubt it, but you never know. Next year, he has no chance, though. If something... Because odds are the Celtics were going to lose this series anyway. And that was Trent Tucker's point of view. Like, odds are, if, even if Tatum never got hurt, that the... Celtics were probably not going to win this series. And the next day was going to be Knicks and Pacers at the end of the day. Cleveland, I mean, what the heck happened there? I mean, Indiana just kind of took it to them. They just kind of kicked their butts. I mean, 4-1. Very impressive. Which, again, obviously New York. I mean, you think Boston's more dangerous than Cleveland, but Boston clearly wasn't as good as they were last year. They're still good, but not as good. And I think there was some mismanaged. They were mismanaged a bit with the... with the coaching. So I'm leaning towards the Indiana Pacers winning the Eastern Conference, and they have won, 4 consecutive series? So history's on the 3 consecutive. History's on the Pacers side. Big time. Say Knicks, back in the 90s, it was definitely on the Knicks side in the early half. So yeah, that was back in the good old days, man. Knicks, Pacers. They tied it up. Knicks took a 3-2 lead. And then it's like 3 in a row since in favor of the... so it's 5-3? Pacers? Yes, 5-3 Pacers in terms of Series 1. So it's not like a huge lopsided thing, but I do think the Pacers are going to win the Eastern Conference in a 6-game series. I think it gets to 6, and the Pacers close out the New York Knicks. And it's not Conseco Fieldhouse anymore, is it? It's some other name. But that's what's going to happen. The Pacers defeat the Knicks in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They defeat the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. You could be looking at Indiana OKC or Indiana Minnesota in the NBA Finals, and how epic would the latter be? So we're almost there now. So we talked briefly about what happened in the East. In the West, of course, OKC and Denver was a back-and-forth series. Clutch shots were made, which made Nuggets fans feel good about themselves, I'm sure. I'm sure they feel, man, this is too many windows up. What the hell? This is tiring. I have way too much up here. Sorry. Yes, it was a back and forth series. Clutch shot by Aaron Gordon in the first game. I think we already talked about that. It looked like Denver was possibly going to win that series for a while. And then it all kind of changed around game 4. Like when the Nuggets took a 2-1 lead, it's like, are they going to win this thing? And it all just kind of changed. And then Oklahoma City takes a 3-2 lead. Denver has a bit of a back and forth battle, survives game 6. And it's like, oh, maybe the momentum's back with Denver now after completely losing it and going down 3-2. But ultimately, OKC, Denver took a pretty good lead to start off the game. But, and then everything just kind of snowballed, and you had a 125-93 final. Just an absolute obliteration of the Denver Nuggets. It's not fun losing like that. But it is what it is. So the Denver Nuggets, for 2 years in a row, lose in 7 games in the Western semis. And that leads us to our feature presentation. That would be the Western Conference Finals, featuring the Oklahoma City Thunder hosting your Minnesota Timberwolves.
And now, our feature presentation.
Sounds about right. Yes, it's a feature presentation. Okay, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have no idea. No, I'm kidding. It is kind of like that, though. I do have no idea at the end of the day. Oklahoma City, well, during the course of the season, they were 3rd in points, 11th in rebounds, 6th in field goal percentage, 1st in free throw, 6th in 3 points, 12th in assists, number 1 in turnovers. Damn. Number 1 in assist to turnover ratio. They move the ball nicely. 2nd in blocks, Chet Holmgren. 1st in steals. So extremely good defensively and extremely good offensively. And extremely good moving the ball and extremely good protecting the ball. And they're really good shooters, and they make their free throws. And they have a guy who's been pretty much unofficially dubbed the MVP of basketball this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Canada. And he is the cousin of another 3-syllable guy known as Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Apparently, Dort has been a thorn in the side for Anthony Edwards historically, so that's going to be interesting. He's a 41% three-point shooter. Isaiah Joe, or Joe Isaiah. No, it's Isaiah Joe. He's a 41% three-point shooter. Hartenson didn't even, he attempted 0.3 three-pointers and made 0 all season. Big, tough guy. Isaiah Hartenstein. Aktum Hartenstein. No, he's from Oregon, apparently. Second-round pick. Nice second-round pick by the Rockets. Wound up with the OKC Thunder. He's been a bit of a journeyman, but he's definitely becoming a nice player for the OKC Thunder. A double-double guy. Even averages a block a game, even though he doesn't come off as this athletic shot blocker guy. Whereas this other annoying-looking guy called Chet Holmgren, who can't stay healthy, who happens to be from Minneapolis, Minnesota, born on May 1st, 2002, from Gonzaga. Yuck. Second overall pick by the Thunder in 2022. Chet frickin' Holmgren. Chet shoes himself right there. That's why I always joked about what's his shoe size. And they don't list it. Last year, Chet Holmgren played all 82 games. His rookie year, he played 0 games. This year, he played 32 games. So what is it, in and out? Or what's the deal here, Chet? I'm not sure, but you got to work on those Chet shoes, man. He missed his entire rookie year, remember? And then played every single game last year. But the OKC Thunder lost in the semifinals to the Dallas Stinking Mavericks, giving us hope, thinking that the Timberwolves were going to get it done. We have home court in the West Finals. It doesn't get better than this. But it was kind of like the Minnesota Wild going on this, great playoff run, winning on the road, Game 7. You got a home ice. Oh, my God. In the West Finals, we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, my God. And then hope for our best against frickin' New Jersey Devils, who were a borderline dynasty at the time. Kind of like last year's Celtics team, which was kind of like they were just the best team in the league, basically. And then they got their butts handed to them. They just didn't show up, the frickin' Wild. And then last year, the Wolves just, they just didn't finish the job. They were doing well against Dallas, and then they didn't finish well. And it was really dumb and annoying, and I hated it. I really hated it. I was on here getting mad, mad. Well, anyhow, this time we're playing against a team that won 68 games. So any thought of the Wolves winning this series would be wonderful. And any thought of the Wolves being favored in this series is, not going to happen. So we're not the favorites now. The pressure's not on us. It is on the Oklahoma City Thunder. They almost lost to the Denver Nuggets, so only won 2 more games than the Timberwolves. So there's hope. Timberwolves staying healthy. Knock on wood. Pray to God. We're not hearing about any hamstring tears to any, or not hair tears, but sprains or strains or whatever to any Oklahoma City Thunder players yet. We'll see. You know what I mean? Last series that happened with Steph Curry of all people. Chet Holmgren is 7'1", only 208. He's real thin, but he can block shots like no tomorrow. But when he gets hurt, he gets hurt. He misses time. I mean, he misses serious time. His rookie year, he was out. He was literally out. Kind of like a certain guy who tore his ACL was it like before the season started? That was, what was that guy's name? With the Clippers forever. And then ended up becoming a little more of a journeyman, but was still good for a while. Why am I forgetting his stupid name? The number 1 pick in 2009. You know, that infamous draft that we all want to forget. Blake Griffin. There we go. I need to look it up. Okay. Sometimes it's just, my mind just gets quiet, and then it's like, okay, that's who it was. I mean, it's like you could see his face, but the name just isn't blurting out. And that's how it is. Chet Holmgren, though, number 2 overall in 2022. Good for him. In Oklahoma City, he's got like 15,000 draft picks coming their way. Shea Alexander went 11th overall in 2018. Picked by the Charlotte Hornets. I wish he was on the Hornets. I really do. Because if you listen to me on this show, I'm literally begging and praying to God that the Charlotte Hornets become a good team. Because I think it'd be really nice for the NBA to see the Charlotte Hornets do well. I wish he was there. Instead, he wound up on the Clippers of all teams. And Clippers and Warriors, I mean, that might be, people that make fun of the Rudy Gobert trade or this trade or that trade or any other trade in NBA history. I mean, this has to be the worst trade in NBA history for the Clippers. It has to be. Like Gilgeous-Alexander and all those picks for Paul George, who was a good player. He was a really good player for a while. But I just can't put into words, man. What an absolute mistake. What an absolute mistake. I just, it's just, what are we doing? Yeah. Paul George, yeah, that was all there. It's just, Gilgeous-Alexander, Paul George, and all those draft picks. The Clippers received Paul George. The Thunder received Shea Gilgeous, Dino Gallinari, great. Miami's 2021 unprotected first rounder. Clippers 2022 unprotected first rounder. Right to the 23 first round swap with Clippers not conveyed. Interesting. 24 unprotected. See, these are unprotected, by the way. Heat's 25th 2025 protected first rounder. Right to the 2025 first round swap with the Clippers. So the Thunder don't have to swap, though. They'll just be able to get it because they have the best record in the league. But they still got the pick, I believe. No, yeah. And 2026 unprotected first rounder. It's just still going. For Paul George. That's it. Paul George. I mean, and at the time, Shea was averaging, 10 points a game? Look at him now. So, yeah, there's a lot of storylines in this one, even though it's like the only real Minnesota storyline here, at least that I'm looking at the moment, is, of course, Chet Holmgren. And then I guess Shea, he's a cousin of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They're both Canadian from Toronto. Man, but he's a 6'6" monster. He surely is. And it seems like yesterday these two teams were squaring off in the play-in tournament for the rights to make the postseason, like the regular playoffs, right? The regular playoff bracket. That these two teams were scoring off in that game, and Shea got hit in the face or whatever, hit in the eye, and he had a big black eye or whatever. Kind of felt bad about that, but the Wolves survived and won that. Shea seems like one of those quiet, respectful kind of guys. He does. Kind of like, I would say Nickeil Alexander-Walker is kind of like that too. Like, he talks a lot, maybe more like complaining at the refs. He's not, going off on people. And I don't really see that out of Shea, so good for him. I respect that. A very strange number for a star player, but I suppose Kawhi Leonard got that going. Oh, man, it's just one of those. It's the kind of trade you just can't believe what just happened. Yet, at the time, it might have been like, yeah, it's too much. You were still saying it's too much. Like, why are you giving up all these draft picks for a guy that's already been damaged goods with a catastrophic broken leg and other injuries that continue to pop up? Hell of a player and everything, but injuries that pop up and pop up and pop up and pop up. And you give up a guy who's, pretty promising. He looked pretty good as a rookie. Maybe not going to be that great, not that special, but there's something. Like maybe, maybe he becomes something, and we'll see. That's a nice, nice move by the Thunder to give it a shot. See if he's like a way better version of this Paul George guy that we just, that did well for us, but Clippers want him so bad. But then all those draft picks, I don't understand. Clippers are, I don't know, that hurts. Luckily for them, it ends after next summer, not this summer. So back to the actual series itself. It's a tough matchup. Yes, it's a tough matchup. Wolves history versus OKC. It's been kind of all over the place. It's been all over the place, generally speaking, with the OKC Thunder. Back to Stat Muse we go with this one. It's been even, and this series could go to 7 games, I think. The earliest one was on New Year's Eve. The Timberwolves beat I think they won, didn't they? The Timberwolves did win. Timberwolves beat the... What score could this... Is this... Am I looking at the score correctly? Okay, it's backwards. My apologies. And Florida, congratulations, going to the East Finals. It's 6-1. It's over. So, okay, I'm looking at it backwards. OKC won on New Year's Eve. Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember being disappointed in that game. Because the Wild, of course, always lose on New Year's Eve as well. Yeah, it was just more New Year's Eve depression crap. The Wolves lost 113-105. Annoying. But then the Wolves beat OKC pretty soundly in Target Center. The first game was in OKC. Second game was in Target Center. The Wolves beat OKC 116-101. Pretty nice win. 15-point win for the Wolves on Feb 13. OKC beats the Wolves by 7, 130-123 in a big back-and-forth battle on February 23rd. But then back-to-back games, the Wolves get the job done, coming back to Target Center, traveling from Oklahoma City the next night. So February 24th, the Wolves win 131-128 in a great game. SGA had 39 points. Anthony Edwards actually led both teams in rebounds, which is pretty wild. Man, pretty crazy. But it's an interesting back-and-forth series between these two teams. And what tells you, again, this is going to be a good series. The Wolves played competitively against this team. And ultimately, I do believe in the total score, the Wolves should be ahead. I think we are, right? I think the Wolves are ahead in this one. Because, yeah, you just look at it. The Wolves lost by 6, so they're -6. No, 8. Crap, that's 8 points in the first game. And then a +15 in the next one, so that makes them a +7. They win the next one, that makes them a +14 because they won by 7 again. And nope. They lose, so then they're even. I'm an idiot, sorry. But then the Wolves win the last game by 3, so they're a +3. So the Wolves kind of sort of win the tiebreaker with the +3. If that counts for anything, it doesn't really, I guess. But that tells you that's a pretty even matched series, believe it or not. Even though Oklahoma City won 68 games and the Wolves won 49. 49 versus 68. But this is a very different Timberwolves team than what was 500 for like 3/4 of the season. So Timberwolves definitely more focused, more locked in. Obviously, you had injury troubles earlier on. You had back and forth issues. Chemistry was a huge problem. At the end of the day, I've got a really good feeling that the Timberwolves can win this series. I think it's going to be very similar to the Denver series last year. Maybe the Wolves win game 1. I'm pretty certain the Wolves are going to come back to the Target Center, in like a week or so, and it's going to be that'll be next Saturday. Wolves to come back to Target Center with a series 1-1. So it's Tuesday. The first game is Tuesday. The second game is Thursday, both on ESPN and then ABC national television. Saturday night, 7:30, epic. Wolves with a shot of going up 2-1, and I think they do. I think the Wolves go up 2-1. Luckily, Wolves no injuries, thank you Lord. Nikola Topic ACL way back in July 24th. So we're talking back. I think the Wolves have a real shot at this series. And by the way, I almost forgot. Draymond Green believes we have a shot as well.
They got a chance. They got a real shot. Anytime you got a number two that can just go get it, you give yourself a chance at to go make it happen and get a ring. And like I said, the way Drew has been playing, since he came back from the injury, by the way, it ain't just start. Like the way he's been playing since he came back from his injury, he's been lights out. So, I have no doubt that he'll continue to play that way. He's aggressive as hell, and he gonna go after it. He got that mindset. Always have had that mindset. So, and it's clicking for him. So I think they got a real shot at it. When you got two dynamic, and then they got all the pieces, right? Like they got Nas coming off the bench. Jaden McDaniels is a hell of a young player. Rudy, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Mike Conley and his experience. Dante flying around and defending and shooting. Alexander, they got pieces. So it's just not one or two guys. They got a real team. And so I think they got a real shot at it.
Thank you, Draymond. That was actually very complimentary. You thought he's this big jackass and stuff, but that came out pretty complimentary and sounded like a nice guy. I kind of liked him after that. I kind of like Draymond Green after hearing that. And you know what? I've been supportive of him. You know why I support Draymond Green and guys like that? Because when I wasn't more of a scorer type of a player, as I got a little, when I came out of my teens and headed into my later teens and into my early to mid-20s, I became a scoring type of player. But my roots as a basketball player were that rugged style. Defense and rebounding. Hustle. Get that rebound. Play defense. Maybe knock somebody around a little bit to, send a message. Why do you think I have a soft spot for guys like that? Even though it's like, it sounds like I hate his guts all the time, but then it's like, not necessarily, when you talk about the Jared Vanderbilts, and of course, you go from Jared Vanderbilt, into the junkyard dog who used to play for Toronto to, obviously Dennis Rodman was the ultimate example, but took it a little too far, made himself kind of into a lunatic at times, and so does Draymond Green. Like choking players, kicking cameramen in the balls, punching Joe Wolf in the balls. That's Rodman. Draymond Green, again, one thing after another. What was it, like stomping out somebody? I think he did that, didn't he? Didn't he stomp out someone? Like stomp on someone's chest or something? Like, what's going on, man? So it's a competitiveness, and you get angry and frustrated, and believe me, I can relate. And a lot of people out there listening that love sports and played sports can relate to that. You get mad as hell sometimes. You just do. But sometimes you don't want to take it that far. It's not worth it. Especially if you're not a multi-million-dollar player who's probably not going to go to jail, not going to wind up in a courtroom and, lose your job or whatever the hell else could happen. But digressing. Thank you, Draymond Green. I went on way too long with that, but that was nice. As for this series coming up, Anthony Edwards continue to be play up. Anthony Edwards continue to, and when he's a distributor, he's still a huge factor. He's not kind of quiet and invisible like Mr. Butler was against the Timberwolves in the previous series. He kind of felt like he just was kind of like along for the ride rather than, like taking charge of the situation, which is what the Warriors needed. He didn't. He was literally playing like I'm like the Scottie Pippen or even beyond that. I'm like a Mike Conley role almost at the end of the day. Like Mike Conley at this age. Mike Conley in his prime was a great point guard, but he's an old dude now. More of a coach than a player, but still can play a little. The depth and strength of this team is still there. The size, Julius Randle's physicality. I think the Wolves can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they can, but it's going to be really tough. It's going to be long. It's going to be grueling. And we're going to face another tough, grueling team in the NBA Finals if it's the Pacers, and I kind of think it is. I think the Indiana Pacers are going to be in the NBA Finals. Knicks and Timberwolves NBA Finals would be pretty amazing. So would it be for OKC and the Knicks? Any matchup, if you're just a flat-out basketball fan, you're a neutral fan right now, it would be pretty good. I think Wolves Pacers would be good. Wolves Knicks would be good. Oklahoma Indiana would be good, and Oklahoma New York would be good. I'm leaning towards Minnesota Indiana in the NBA Finals. Yep, it's going to be kind of an underdog, final type of thing. It's going to be an underdog NBA Finals, which almost never happens. Houston Rockets, though, were a team that emerged as a 6th seed and won the NBA title after winning an NBA championship as were they a number 1 seed that year? They were up there. I can't remember in 94 if they were the number 1 seed. They may have been. Sorry, it's like one of these things. They just kind of standings. Yep. Shouldn't take too long to pull this up. Yeah, the Hawks. The Hawks and the Knicks tied for the lead in the East, and they actually gave home court to the Hawks, and they blew it. I felt so bad. Because they traded away Dominique Wilkins, those idiots. So, Supersonics. That's right. The Rockets were number 2, and the Supersonics choked against the Nuggets. Yep. And then the Nuggets got swept right out of there by Utah. Yep. That time, the team that went up 3-0 just finished them off. Yeah, and Utah was only a 5th seed that year. Weird. But then, the Jazz just, they were good, but not good enough. The Jazz did get past the Spurs somehow, and good for them. And the Rockets got past the Suns. Good for them. And then, that's kind of what happened. And Rockets won the title that year with 58 wins. Kind of similar to the, could have been the 2004 Wolves with 58 wins. And then here we are, here we are with a possible similar team to the 95 Rockets. You could argue it was more talented because they had Clyde frickin' Drexler. Whereas this team has Julius Randle, so you could argue the Wolves are a little bit better in a way. The Rockets were the 6th seed with only 47 wins. Wow. 47, that's it. Huh. Wild. Yeah, but of course the Sonics lost to the Lakers. 57, I almost said the F word. 57 wins and they lost to the Lakers. You guys suck. Yeah, I remember how annoying that was. People were not happy at the Sonics at that time. They were mad. But anyhow, I think this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series with the Wolves emerging victorious. Might sound a little Homer-like, but I think this team has the grit, is battle-tested. It's a different team. And it's not just because, it's different and they're going to get it done this time. It's a team that's meaner. This is a meaner team than last year. Last year they were a talented team, but maybe a little on the soft side. I think Julius Randle's a lot tougher than Mr. Karl Anthony Towns. And let me tell you, I picked the Timberwolves to win the NBA title over the New York Knicks at the beginning of the season. I had a feeling that was going to be the finals, and then later as the year progressed, it felt like that'd be the most laughable thing ever. Like neither team's going to the finals. Well, they might. Here we are in the Final Four. Wolves and Knicks are in the Final Four. Could happen. Yet right now I'm picking Wolves and Pacers, but I think Wolves and Knicks. I think Wolves would beat. Basically, I think the winner of this series is going to be the NBA champion. That gives me goosebumps, man. It gives me goosebumps saying that. The winner of this series is going to win the NBA championship. I don't think the Eastern Conference wins this year. And I love the Eastern Conference, historically. I hate the West. You know why? Because I want to beat the West, damn it. I hate the West. I hate the Sun. I don't hate the Suns, but I want to beat them. Thunder, same thing. I don't really hate them, but I want to beat them, damn it. Stuff like that. But I think the winner comes out of the West this season. And if the Wolves get past the Thunder, man, it's going to be one of the most, it's far from a guarantee. The Pacers may very well be like last year's Mavericks and break our hearts. You got to come out absolutely the same way you come out in every series, with a dagger in your hand, laced with poison, and be ready to plunge that thing in as hard as you can and never stop until it's over. Forgive the graphic. Forgive my graphicness. It's all figurative, of course. Figuratively have that poison dagger to put it in and finish that team off. And that's what you're hoping for. That's what you're hoping for, that this team can do that. But this is a wall that Minnesota franchises have been running into since 1991. This is now the 8th chance a Minnesota team has gone to the conference finals, the 8th try. Will the 8th time be a charm? Because obviously in 91, Twins won the World Series, beating the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League Championship Series, which is like a conference final, whatever, and then the Braves in a very close 7-game series. And then it took up to 98, the Vikings having a 15-1 team. Oh my God, we're going to end the drought and the heartbreak. No, we're not. We lost to the Atlanta Falcons in a heartbreaker in the Metrodome in overtime. Unbelievable that Vikings team choked that game away. Crazy. So no Super Bowl, nothing. They just lost to the conference final. 2000, same thing. Got crushed against the New York Giants. Then in 2002, the Minnesota Twins got to the ALCS. Home field advantage against the Anaheim Angels. Big deal. We're going to beat them. And we're going to win the World Series. No, we're not. Yeah, we won game 1, but we never won again. And got destroyed in the 5th game. Terrible. Twins haven't been back. No, they have not. That was the last series the Twins won of any kind until 2 years ago, beating Toronto in a wild card round. Yay. So yeah. Anyhow, the Twins that was the second team. No, third team. That was the third try. The 4th try was the Minnesota Wild, losing to the Ducks, which we already talked about. 5th try was the Timberwolves, losing to the Los Angeles Lakers after going up 2-1. And, of course, losing Sam Cassell before that. That was the 5th try. 6th try, 2009 Minnesota Vikings. Oh, my God. Probably almost more heartbreaking than the Falcons game in 98. Just ridiculous. No Super Bowl, no NBA Finals, no World Series, no Stanley Cup Finals. Nope. Just breaks your heart. Vikings would get one more shot in 2017. Looked like we were riding a magic carpet, but boy, that thing ran out of magic points big time. There were no tonics, no tinctures, nothing to fill up those magic points. And the Vikings just fell off that magic carpet, and that was it. Got killed by the Eagles. This is the 9th try, isn't it? Because, yeah, if the Wolves were the 5th. Yep, Vikings twice, Twins once, that's 3. Wild 4, Wolves 5. 2009 Vikings 6. 2017 Vikings 7. Last year's Wolves 8, and this year's Wolves 9. This is the 9th time. So the 9th try. Can this be the 9th one where we at least get to the final? But doggone it, you get to that final, you got to win it. You don't want to be the team that loses and then, you're like the Mavericks or something. I don't think we're going to fall off like that. But either way, I don't want to even think about that possibility happening. You get there, you win it. Dang it. Great series coming up. I think it's a 7-gamer. The Wolves match up good enough with this team to be an extreme threat. They absolutely do. Anthony Edwards and Shea could go off for 40 any night. Julius Randle is going to be, he's a lot tougher than Chet Holmgren, but that guy can change shots, boy. He's a pain in the butt. Thankfully, so can Rudy Gobert. Isaiah Hartenstein is maybe the closest thing to Julius Randle in terms of toughness that the, have. In terms of toughness that the Thunder have. Hartenstein's going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. He can block some shots and can get a lot of rebounds and such. So, Hartenstein and Randle will be definitely a back and forth a bit. Gobert, the shot changer, and of course Mr. Chet Holmgren is going to be a pain in the butt to deal with at times, but he's not real physical. If you didn't notice, he can be pushed around. So it kind of depends on the matchups and all of that. But it's going to be a great series, and I am right now leaning towards Wolves in. I'm hoping for Wolves in 6. Honestly, that'd be really awesome if the Wolves can pull that off. Can put this Oklahoma City team in trouble. I think Game 7 in Oklahoma City would be very hard. They proved that today. But maybe if anybody can do it, if anybody can win a 7th game in Oklahoma City, I think it's the Wolves. So Minnesota in 6 or 7 right now. I'm going to lean towards Wolves in 6, just to kind of be careful and also be hopeful at the same time. With that, we'll take a quick break and jump into fan interaction. I better get moving. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 3, fan interaction. It's going to be a little bit all over the place, but probably nothing too bad. A lot of my crazy rants here, but I won't probably get. I'll try to avoid that a little bit. I was saying time to stick the dagger in, so on and so forth. Sometimes there's some replies. What was I saying? Yeah, I was yelling at Kuminga, running his big mouth. And then Tanae Brown was saying, home court is back. Curry out the next game. Hopefully they can back to Target Center 3-1. Okay, yep, I think that was on the last show. Sorry. I wanted to read something about, it's something, a retweet from Nick Van Exel, because I think I would miss it otherwise. Nick Van Exel was talking about the whole Achilles thing on Twitter, of course, at Vanix, at VANEXEL31, of course. There have been Achilles tears throughout the years, but my thoughts on them is that they happen more now, and I think it has something to do with them damn lows the players wear nowadays. Cover them ankles up, fellas. I agree. I think they should wear more high tops. Yeah. I mean, it's happening more often. It is kind of scary. Cover them ankles up, fellas. Yep. Nick Van Exel. So, yeah, like, probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. So, where are we going? I don't know. I'll kind of back and forth, going crazy during these games. Raised by Wolves. Flinchy is a genius. Other thing. What was I complaining about? Well, not. I probably was saying. Raised by Wolves is saying, who are the bleeping announcers for the Wolves game? Can you say Warriors homers? PA isn't as much of a homer. That'd be like with the Vikings, My God, they're disappointed, and it's not a flagrant foul on Slim. I was saying the whole thing's driving me nuts. I don't understand why so many people like the Warriors. They piss me off and have forever. Raised by Wolves responds with, and as national announcers, quote unquote, they aren't supposed to root for one team over the other. Grady is far more neutral, and he's a Wolves homer than these two idiots, that type of thing. I was saying I agree, and so on and so forth. So, there's one rant. Xerxes' dad was saying, where are the fans? This is Warrior fans, because I was saying they need to go away, basically, and he's saying, where are the fans? Warriors fans did end up leaving, so thank you for that. I don't know if we're following each other, probably not. Oh, he's a Oklahoma fan. Interesting. Well, now we got him to deal with maybe next round, right? ALBJ4 says, almost comical, so the way the calls have been kind of, it felt like the Warriors are just they got a lot of calls for the most part. I was saying, what a weak call. Podzminski runs under Randall, and they call a foul on Julius. And the response was almost comical at this point. Raymond tackles DDV with the chokehold and no call, but Randall gets called for a perfectly legal screen. I was saying, so ticky-tack. Kind of some of these, Here he is, Tanae Brown, out of New Zealand, says, what was it? Well, it looks like he might have been responding to something. I was saying, boy, these refs love the Warriors tonight. Thankfully, we're still up by 19, LOL. I think that was a nice feeling, wasn't it? Tanae says, it does my head in when they talk about playoff physicality, but then call all this pathetic touch fouls. Oh, yes. You're only meant to call a foul if the contact gives the defender an advantage, or that's what I was taught when I did an officiating course. FIBA rules, though. Yep. So, it's unbelievable. It really is. Yep, here we go. And I was like, why have we left all of our players in? Like, we could get a stupid injury. That was I was talking about earlier when the Wolves had a big lead or whatever. That was in the first segment. And left all of our not all of our starters necessarily, but a lot of main type of guys in there instead of just emptying the bench like the Warriors had done a few minutes earlier. Like, what are we doing? Are we trying to get hurt? And then Tanae was saying, they clearly don't want to be out there either. Like, what are we doing? It was stupid. The Wolves just let them back in the game, basically, too. I was saying it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. What if something stupid happened? And then Tanae says, I feel like the players knew that, and that's why they just stopped trying. What if somebody had done an Achilles? Exactly. Tatum was just trying to hustle the ball, and bang, season over for the Celtics. Felt like Finch was punishing them, leaving them in. Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah, it's like, what are you punishing them for? You're ahead. You did a good job. Like, that was, yeah, I don't understand why Vinci did that. It did feel like it. Ali Sidikai saying he'll be there, can't wait. That was for Wednesday. Yep, he was going to be there for Game 5. So Ali Sidikai got to see the Wolves advance to the West Finals. Yep. Today he's annoyed with Naz Reid. Yep, he said Naz Reid has not been good this series. Kuminga torching him, sloppy with the ball, thoughts, and I was saying, I can't disagree at all. It's driving me absolutely nuts. Got to be better in the next round, no matter who we play. I'm tired of this lackadaisical nonsense that we're saying. Yeah, because it's like, they're just, he's been like it out. Reid was pretty good early on against the Lakers, and it felt great. That's when it's like, wow, we really have a chance to beat the Lakers. Now it's like, geez, if we get past Oklahoma City, there's a pretty good chance we're world champions. There's a real shot. And we finally get through this stupid wall that we haven't gotten past since 1991. A lot of people listening to this podcast right now may not have been born yet. 91 is 34 years ago. It's a long time ago. And right about, and the Twins had a 13-game win streak just today. In 91, the Twins won a franchise, all-time franchise, 15-game win streak. They were like a 500, below 500 team before that, and were in first place. After that, that was in early June. So all those years ago is when all that wonderful stuff started. Hopefully the Twins are on their way to something nice. I don't know, but it is what it is. Tanae was saying no chance against OKC or Denver playing like this. Damn right. Like they can't be lackadaisical like that. Like, what are you doing, guys? Yep, it was scary. Like, Naz Reid did have a lousy series, yes. And Nikhil Alexander-Walker, outside of a 120-point game, was not too good either. Dante's not been good. Yet we're in the West Finals. So, Dante, Naz, Nikhil, please be better. Please be the guys you know you can be. And then, of course, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, keep it up, guys. Jaden McDaniels, be that difference maker. Like Jaden McDaniels becomes a 20-point-ish type of guy and plays great defense, stuff like that. This team might be the world champions. They just might. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah, that was Draymond Green when he was talking about, when he's saying they got a real team. They have a real shot at this, like winning it all. And Tene responds, don't let me start believing. Yep, I understand. He may be in New Zealand, but he knows exactly what it is like to be a Minnesota fan, where you get your hopes up and you get your heart broken. But hopefully this is finally the end of that, at least for 1 year, if not several years coming, that this team wins multiple championships. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, folks. Right? Vince Germano was saying, I'm starting to think you're not a fan of anyone. Oh boy. Yeah, I absolutely despise Denver and their fans. Not a fan of OKC either. Wolves need to dismantle whoever it is. Yep, I know, I'm a hater. Yes, Vince, I'm a hater. Oh, somebody liked it too. Uh-oh, who liked it? Who liked it? Who's laughing at me and hurting my feelings right now? I probably can't even look at it, can I? Well, I'm not going to unfollow or block anyone. That would be kind of mean. I can't even look to see who liked it. What kind of nonsense is that? That's mean. It's private, dang it. It's none of your business, Joey. Well, you know what it is? It's just competitive juices coming out. I mean, Denver, of course, there's a lot of animosity with Denver. It's been building up forever. Ever and ever. OKC, well, it's just, I want to beat them. That's all. I want to beat them. I don't, hate them or anything, but I want to beat them. I like the Atlanta Hawks, kind of. I don't hate them. The Knicks, I don't really hate the Knicks, but I don't want to lose to them in the NBA Finals either. Pacers, same thing. I don't hate them, but I don't want to lose to them in the NBA Finals either. No, don't want to lose to them in the Finals. Mavericks, yeah, I know, there's a lot of frustrations with them, but, well, it's different now. And yes, they took Luka off the Mount dislike bar, okay? He was replaced by Draymond Green, even though Draymond Green said some very nice things about the Timberwolves, and I appreciate that. So maybe somebody else will take that spot here very shortly. Who knows? I don't know if there's anybody, maybe Williams. I don't know if he's going to bug me too much. I didn't even talk about him when I was doing the preview. Yeah, he's a huge pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. Jalen Williams. He averages 21.6 a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. 3-3 percentage is 36.5, but he sure hits those clutch ones, it seems like. He's not going to be easy to deal with. No. And extremely young. Another one of those picks. First round, 12th overall pick. 6'5". Santa Clara, California, baby. Yes, Jalen Williams is somebody to worry about, no doubt. And he's born in Denver, Colorado. Interesting. Denver, Colorado. So he beat his city, basically, where he grew up. And he had some big moments in that series, too. He's somebody I fear going into this series. You betcha. I apologize for not even bringing him up. Yeah, I hope Anthony Edwards can take care of business versus him, because he's going to have to. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, it's Anthony and Jalen, and then Mr. McDaniels maybe goes on Shea. That's what I'm guessing at the moment. That's probably going to make sense. And then Chet Julius type of stuff, possibly. Hardenson and Gobert, or switch the two up. We'll see. There'll probably be some switches. Dort has been a pain in the butt for Anthony Edwards historically, so yeah, we'll see. He's tough. Oof. He's from Montreal too. Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So yeah. Anyhow, we're almost done here. Almost done. I apologize. Just last two. Where is it today? The Wolves have to be super smart with the ball this series. That would be with OKC, of course, to have a chance. I hate how we basically got given the last series. Yeah. They weren't playing well offensively at all. You can't be sloppy against OKC's shell. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Next one, Tanae says, I love Russ. Yep, I think I remember. I know Levi is Oklahoma City jersey. That's Tanae's older brother. Says, I love Russ. I feel like I'm quite a bit like him. Ooh. I don't care if you're my teammate. If you're doing a shit job, you're going to hear about it. Got plenty of warnings at work because of it. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I'm somebody who's going to listen to you on that one. Yeah, well, it was an awful pass, but I know. But Russell Westbrook also made an awful pass a few minutes earlier to an attempted pass to a guy named Cyclops. That guy, Nikola Jokic. But yeah, that's a good case today. It's a good case. And again, as you might say over there in down under area, fair enough, mate. It's a good case. Yep. So fair enough. With all that said, thank you, Tanae. That was awesome. Thank you so much for the interaction. Hope to hear from Benzo from the Bronx some more and more. Vince, of course, yep. We had some fun and great call-ins, Vince. Thank you very much. Thank you for your honesty. That's why you're so awesome. Really, honest to God. Final, like in one final, Ollie including himself, or Ollie jumping on board. ALBJ4. Hope I can hear more and more from you. Let me know if you listen to the show. That'd be great. Raised by Wolves. Yep. And of course, the fact that we just beat the Warriors. Another ode, and a very sincere ode to Reese Pedretti. What's wrong with me? Pumba, that's where it came out. Pumba, instead of Pedretti, yeah. So my deep apologies there, and major respect forever to Pumba. Was a Warriors fan, a very loyal fan, and of course, again, passed away of something similar to pancreatic cancer, but different, like a more rare case of something different. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but we lost him this past late winter, I guess, here in summer over there in Australia, and miss you to death. Really miss you to death. I'm sorry for all the times I trash on the Warriors, but it definitely wasn't anything against Reese Pedretti or anybody like him, so bless you forever. With all of that said, hopefully the Timberwolves can get this done and we can finally get over the hump here in Minnesota. It'd be about bleeping time. It really would. Well, we're going to have multiple shows until we celebrate a championship if this really is our year. With that said, take care, and we'll be back soon. Go Timberwolves.